Welcome to the social circle where creators come together to turn ideas into impact and goals into a reality. I am Candace, and this is
Jennifer, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. We really appreciate you being here today. I think today is a Thursday. Oh my gosh, this week, I
I
just want to
know.
say this week went by way too fast. I keep waking up every day thinking it's Saturday. I don't know what that is. It's so
And
weird,
the
but I
kids
wake
have
up
off
like
school on Monday. Mine do, anyways. I think it's a holiday, though, right?
something. I don't know.
Winter work day for us, I think. But, anyways, yes, girl. It did go
Weird.
by really fast. And today
It
is my
did.
father in law's birthday. And I'm not
Happy
sure if he's
birthday.
going to listen, but happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday. So, we wanted to share something that we are still learning, I think, as creators, how to just be normal on social media. And I think the way that we do that is through storytelling. When we hear the word storytelling, though, we get all caught up in that, right? We think there's
Yeah.
so much involved in it. There is a skill to it. I must admit that. You can just go on and talk about your day however you want to. If you're doing that and it isn't giving you the results that you're hoping for, let's talk about how we can tweak it a little bit. You don't need to have trauma or a glow up or blue check to even tell stories that can actually land. We're here to help you figure those things out by doing a couple of these things. Candace, what can we help people with?
Oh man, storytelling. We talked about this in the 2026 predictions, and we are trying to learn how to perfect this because it is a skill.
Yeah,
It is a skill being able to tell a story in such a way that people actually give a crap,
right. That's
right?
what anybody wants, right?
Exactly. You got to learn how to tell your story in such a way that people actually care. So let's jump right into our circle hack, which is just a quick prompt, a little list, a couple things on there for you to say, you know what, I have no idea what to post today. And hopefully, this will give you some ideas. Hopefully, it'll help you spot that content in your life because that's what we're doing here is we're sharing our lives. We're not fake on social media, right? People can see right through that mess. We are just trying to share the real stuff that goes on in our everyday lives, whether that's with pets or kids or work or content creation or whatever. So it'll also help you stop overthinking, which is another thing that Jennifer and I harp on constantly, not only on ourselves,
Yeah,
but on
right.
you guys out there that are listening too, because we get it. We understand. We overthink probably just as much as the next guy.
Yep.
So, and this is a way for you to turn your daily life into a story or a post without forcing it or looking fake. So, just a couple of examples to think about, Jennifer.
Something small that annoyed me today. That
Oh
just
gosh, I
to
could go on and
me.
on about that.
Exactly. That's like my right now in my era, it would be my kids. The way that
Yeah.
they react in they don't understand and I don't understand and oh my God, all these things, right? That is so simple to do because it's just
Hmm.
your natural reaction to whatever happened that morning for you personally. And that's what's so unique about us. As individuals, we each have our own thing, but it's very relatable in most cases. So that is
Yeah.
something that you could try that out, see how that goes. Another one is I thought I had, but didn't say out loud. Oh my God, how many of us are doing that? I know
Oh
you do
yeah.
it, Candace.
Oh yes. And it's kind of good the things I don't sell. Hey, you know what? Going back to something small that annoyed me today, it could be you said your kids, but like I could be annoyed at the weather today.
Oh
And
gosh, yeah.
in general, in Florida, because it's been so back and forth, but I'm sure that a lot of people all over the place could relate to something like finicky weather. What's it going to be today? Is it short sleeves or long sleeves? Is it snowing
Yeah.
or is it not for you? Like that kind of a thing. The weather, you could think about the most, what you would think in your head is something that's very minimal, but you're annoyed with. You could make a story time out of that.
Yeah.
There will be people that can relate to that. Traffic.
Oh God.
I know you and I don't really drive anywhere, but
I'm just dropping my kid off in the mornings, and that's enough for me anymore. It used to be my schedule years ago. I used to take the train, public transportation, for an hour and 25 minutes each way from my home to my job for
me
years. That's
too
what
when I
I
worked at the
did.
Pentagon. That's so
Then
funny.
Yes, and when I switched from the trains to driving my own car, still the same length of time because it was still the same distance, but still it was just a matter of I thought it would be better one way or the other way. It didn't turn out to be better at all. It just it's very simple, right? Something that small. It's just so relatable because it's a lot of what we all are doing every day. It's just
Mhm.
nobody's saying it. And that's another layer to building your trust with your community. That's it. That's the whole purpose of this. Another thing you can try saying is a moment that felt normal but meant something later. That is
Yeah, instead
so
of
powerful.
the something today that maybe annoyed me or made me happy, something in the past, right?
Yep.
That had happened and then everything happens for a reason. Later on, you're like, "Oh, dang, that's why
Yes,
this happened," or
that's
whatever.
so good.
And this next one, we just talked about a carousel this morning with this,
Oh
what this
yeah.
week taught me, right?
Love it.
What this week taught me without me even knowing it. What I did, what was the one that, how I failed at parenting this week,
Yep,
right?
that's
And
good.
it was a carousel, brilliant,
Yep.
because there were so many things in there that, regardless of your kids' ages, but as a parent, you can look at that and be like, oh, been there, sister,
And
right?
that's the goal here, right? Is we're trying to just build up instead of always coming onto your platform and just selling, selling. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants the Avon lady calling every time you open up your app. You want to build that trust. And these are those little things every day, very simple to do. We don't take a lot of time to plan this stuff out. That's why we're giving this to you. Hopefully, you take these ideas, try them out, tag us. The Social Circle on Instagram and everywhere you listen to podcasts, drop a line. We want to see if you used it today because we're loving the fact that you're here listening and trying out these great ideas. I do want to
Yeah.
hop into our upcoming, I think, pretty helpful segment. I think that one thing that, again, we hear storytelling, we think it has to
Mhm.
be this super intricate, exciting, oh, wild. We had so many crazy things happen in our lifetime. You don't need the drama to tell the story. It's more about it's just currency on how you're storytelling what's going on. You need to be able to understand the feeling in the moment that you're having and being able to articulate that. That's really the key to telling a good story. And it could be anything. You have to have some kind of structure to it. And again, this all takes practice. This takes testing. This takes failing forward. You did it one time, you got scared, you're not going to try it again. I need you to come back. I need you to move past that moment. I need you to keep trying that same story. Your story is a good one because it's your
Yeah.
lived experience that makes you connect with the other people that you're trying to reach out to for whatever XYZ reasons. And it's something that, again, we're still practicing this all the time with our own
All
content.
the time,
And
every
it's
day.
every day and we're constantly studying how to improve on that, the factors that go into what we put on our socials. I think
And
that
can
go
and
ahead.
consider this, in 2020, or back when people were heavily getting started on social media, on TikTok especially, the influencers and creators would just get on there and talk. There was
Yes,
no perfect structure. There was no method to their madness, right? They were stuck in the house and they just looked at their phone and they were like, "You're not going to believe what my kids did today." And they may
right.
show you, they may talk about it, whatever. But you don't have to have some big elaborate storyline about your dog getting kidnapped or some type of drama or trauma or whatever that you're going through. Your normal life, believe it or
Mhm.
not, is dramatic enough.
Right.
Your normal life is dramatic enough because people want to feel that, oh, I can relate to that. If you're driving
Hmm.
around with you in a limo with your driver running you all over town, people can't relate to that. But they can
Hmm.
relate to the mom that's trying to get their kids to school on time that gets stuck in traffic because of a wild boar running across the street and you just some random normal everyday thing that it's not a news headline, but it's like it's part of your life. And that's what people want to connect with. That's why your normal life will connect with your audience even better than any traumatic story. The traumatic stories will get the views. Don't get it twisted. It'll
Yeah.
get the views because people want to listen, people want to hear, and some people will relate to that or they'll get an emotion from it. But it's the normal everyday things that you're doing, right? Like
Hmm.
I slept horrible last night and now I have a kink in my neck. What do you guys do for that? How do you fix
Right.
that?
That
Right? You're
really awkward
connecting.
conversation. Oh my God, I
Oh
heard
my gosh.
I heard my 6-year-old on the phone with her other 6-year-old friends, and one of them shouts out the word penis and vagina. And I'm thinking, what in the freak is this life that we're living right now? What do I say when I hear that? That's the storytelling, guys. That's the real lived experience that you can share. And
Yeah.
hopefully, if you're giving that right correctly, you'll get all kinds of feedback. You'll hear the comments from everybody. Oh my God, I did this when that happened. Oh my God, I feel you on that. That's so uncomfortable. It's so, oh my God,
Exactly.
whoa. That's what we're going for here with the storytelling is that real moment connection with the other side of the screen. And I love you brought up COVID and people just being quarantined in their homes, and social media was the real way for all of us to just kind of feel the love. I remember
Yeah.
Ophelia, Mama Tot on TikTok. Amazing.
Yeah.
She was just a mom. Son passed. She needed her journaling, and her journaling was her social media. That
Yep.
was her outlet, and that's how she became one of the top rated creators on TikTok. Um,
Yeah.
and it was all
Millions of
genuine,
followers across all of
millions
her
of followers.
platforms now.
There was some drama that other people started over her, but she held her high. And when that kind of stuff, if you're fearing that kind of attention, you don't have to respond to it. That's a
Yeah.
whole other topic, but you don't have to show and tell every intimate thing in your life. If you're comfortable sharing it, share it. If you are uncomfortable, don't share it until you're comfortable with whatever you
Yeah.
feel like. I
I
think,
with on that, I feel like the more you share, as far as the more you put in the reps,
yes,
the more you get comfortable with yourself, because being on social media is a huge journey in yourself, in self-awareness, in your own mindset, in looking back through yourself. And once you can stand 10 toes down on yourself, regardless of what somebody else says, it does get easier. And I feel like that takes time. That takes time. That takes you putting in the reps, and it takes you putting yourself out there a little bit, maybe each time, and seeing what happens with it.
I vouch for that statement because Candace has been with me on this journey almost as long as I have been. And
Hmm.
I feel my own progression from where I was to who I am today. And
Hmm.
it is a difference. And I do feel that. So hopefully, joining us, listening in on the podcast, you're in that starting moment where you're just not sure, you're uncertain. Keep on coming back to this stuff because this is
Yeah.
so helpful, not only for your growth as your content grows, but also just as your person, your character, your personality. You'll start to, and if you're anything like I used to be, I was so scared to put myself out there. I did it anyway. I kept
Same.
coming back, and I can sit in public now and record myself without being afraid of it anymore. I know Candace,
Hmm.
she's got that camera and tripod everywhere she roams.
Well, now, but we've talked about that before. And when
It'd
Charlie
be
and I did the
terrifying.
pod, when you were on vacation, we talked about how we used to be very secretive with it. But now we'll be like, oh, well, you don't want to be in it. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'll just move to this angle. We just do it now. But again, it took reps and it took
Yeah.
time and it took us being comfortable with ourselves. When people
Hmm.
ask me now what we do for a living, we say we're content creators. We do Amazon. We're influencers. We're this. 3 years ago, I know I wouldn't have said that. 3 years ago,
Exactly.
I would have said, we're building a business at home,
Right.
because you're always afraid of what somebody might say. But again, the reps and the time and the comfortability, is that a word? Factor going into standing 10 toes down on yourself is huge. So,
Exactly.
anyways, but how would you recommend turning everyday life into content? Think about this super easy, simple framework, right? You have a moment, something happens, you forget your coffee, or you go to get your coffee and there's no creamer. That happened to me yesterday. I was not happy. You go to get your coffee, you forgot your coffee, whatever. You left it in the microwave, you didn't have any that morning. That's your moment. And then you're thinking, well, why am I always rushing? Why did I forget this yesterday? What was I doing that I forgot the creamer at the store? Right? That's your thought. And then you could think of that as we're all just living on autopilot. I mean, how many times have you driven somewhere and not even remembered how you got there because it was just like autopilot? You were just doing it, you're paying attention to the cars, all of that, but you just get from point A to point B because you've done it 20 other times. living
Exactly.
on autopilot. And that's a relatable thing that people can be like, oh my gosh, yes, that
Yes.
happens to me once a week. Whatever.
Once a
It's
day over here.
right. And content is just, it doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing. Some of my most viral content has been just relatable shit. Just relatable stuff that happens to, typically for me, other married people, right? Or they'll complain about it not being their thing or whatever, right? So it isn't what happened. You don't have to go into all of that, but you could talk about how you got from the moment through your thought into the meaning in how that is relatable to other people living on autopilot.
Right. And one cat
Parenting. Don't even get me started on all the
Don't
stuff
get
we can
started
talk
with
about.
that. One way to take all that we just mentioned is to play back that feedback in
Mm.
your own time when you're analyzing back your content. You go through the reel, you go through the post, whatever it is you posted. And this is something that I recently learned that I'm starting to love and appreciate AI for a lot more now
Mm.
is to use something like CapCut and use the, what is that? Oh my God, Candace, I just asked you.
Transcript.
Thank you. Transcript, right? You take your video, you put it into CapCut, and you pull out the transcript, all the words that are inside of the video, and you tell the CapCut app that Candace just showed me this. I'm so excited for it. You tell that thing to take out the fluff, and that will reduce and refine what you say in the next time that you story tell. And this will just
Mm-hmm.
help improve that skill. And this is the only thing that I'm going to talk about for the moment because I think that was so helpful is that, well, if I talk about everything and I say all this stuff and it didn't get good reviews, I'm not going to do it again. Don't say that part. Reframe that.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it again, but this way instead. And this is how
Yeah.
you do that, right? So let's go into the next part.
And create the curiosity gap
Yes,
in
that's
your
huge.
stories, right?
Yeah,
That was something that I was really bad at, Jennifer too, wanting
always.
to put too much information, over explaining
Words
ourselves.
on it. Yep.
Yeah, over explaining ourselves, where it's really better to create that curiosity gap so you get the engagement, the people asking the questions. Well, why did you go to the store at 1 a.m.? Instead of saying, we went to the store at 1 a.m. because I needed coffee creamer.
Yeah.
Just why am I at the store at 1 a.m.? You got to think about creating that place for people to ask questions and ask for clarification on things.
Yep. That holds that retention on your content.
Yeah.
Something else that you want to explain here too. You don't always have to show up knowing everything all
Mm,
the time. You don't always have to be the expert in whatever it is you're talking about. Becoming more relatable is going to beat out being the expert on something because
absolutely,
it's
especially now.
especially now.
We talk about
Yes.
this a lot.
Yes.
We talk about
We're
this a
in
lot.
that trust recession. There
Exactly.
are so many things happening in the world that we live in today, and it is becoming increasingly more difficult to trust a lot of
Hmm.
things. And that is the way that you win in content creation today is don't show up saying, "Well, I've got this amazing thing and you need to click here to get this now." We're done with all that crap. That is
Oh
old
yeah.
school. We're out the door with that. We want to come through and we want people the same level voices. We want that trust with somebody who's on the same level as we are. You might be just one step ahead, and that's enough. You don't
Yeah.
need to be 10 steps ahead because wherever you are in your journey, someone is not there with you. And you can help them get to that point, and that's going to hopefully help them trust you more. I think, you
People
can
don't follow you because you're ahead of them. They follow you because they feel seen. They
exactly.
feel seen in you or your content, or they feel like, wow, they're speaking right to me.
Yep.
And that's it, man. Back 3 years ago, people would have followed because you're telling them you made $1 million
Right.
and you can help them learn how to do
I
this if
fell
you
for
just buy
that.
their course.
I
And you
was
know
in that
what?
group.
I don't even see that crap anymore. Honestly, I'm sure it's still out there, but I don't
Oh,
even
yeah.
see it anymore. I'm in
Yeah. A
a whole
majority.
different algorithm. Thank goodness.
I think a majority of people are starting to understand that showing off your bling doesn't get the ring. I'm sorry. It's just not.
Ooh.
We're not going to be buying into that anymore because we are going to be buying into the relating, the connecting. Great, you're smart, you're educated. Can we make it fun? Can you gamify your
Yeah.
education? Can you turn it into entertainment that is actually connectable and relatable rather than
Mm-hmm.
just something, well, this is what I know about this thing? That's not fun. You can make a game out of stuff. It's very simple to do. The thing that you got to do when you're trying to figure that part out is you have to find a format that is working for creators that are doing what you want to be doing. So that's what you
Mm,
have to go put your time and effort into instead of saying, well, I tried it once, I'm not going to do it again. You need to go research, you need to go study, you need to put in the effort to see how this other person is doing what you're doing. They're doing it better. They've perfected the skill that it took to get better. That's all. And I
yeah.
think instead of thinking that you always need to be teaching, flip it and say, well, how can I reflect on this instead? Because that's
Mm,
how you can say, I'm in this space, I'm doing this thing, and this is what I learned, and I'm taking you on for the journey of that. And that's where you'll start to see that people don't follow you because you're ahead, they're following you because you're seeing them. And that's really
exactly.
all that you want. That should be your ultimate goal. The sales will come later on after you make those sales pitches a few times a month. You don't come on, like I said in the beginning, don't come on just selling all the time. We don't need that.
Right. It's so true because it's 2026. And that's all I'm going to say.
We don't
Like,
want over polished content, right?
right.
We want real, we want raw, we want why it flopped. We want to figure that out. We don't want to run from it scared, saying we'll never do it again.
And
That's
people
not
are not scrolling at night when they're sitting on their couch trying to watch TV in the background looking for how do I make money online? How do
no.
I make a bench from pallets? They're just scrolling. Just
Yeah.
scrolling. You have to figure out how to get them to stop that scroll and watch you. And the best way to do that is to connect with people, earn their trust and let them be able to see themselves through you.
Love that. Storytelling is letting people recognize themselves in your life. That is the thing to remind yourself of every single day. You have to say you're not performing, you're not convincing, you're just sharing perspective. Again,
Exactly.
lived experience is what you're attempting to go for here, folks.
Right, exactly. And the creators that are sharing themselves, that are earning that trust, that are not trying to be performative, but are still entertaining, are going to be the winners. They're going to be the winners because they're stopping that scroll by entertaining, and then they're earning the trust through the words that they're saying and the
Mhm.
consistency.
I love it. I'm hoping this was a really helpful episode. I feel like I always learn something from us when we have our little podcast because I hear it and then I'm like, I forgot about that. So take some notes. Go back and listen to this one because this was a great one. And you're not boring.
Mm-mm.
You're just too close to your own life to see it clearly.
Amen, sister.
Once
That
you
is
start
so
noticing,
true.
content gets easy and you can definitely pull it off and you can do it the right way. And you're going to tag us in all that you try because we want to see that in
Yes,
all
we
of
do.
your growth.
Absolutely. We're here for that. We are girls, and we want to see everybody win, except for the mean people.
100%. I agree.
I do want to say thank you all so much for listening and continuing to listen. We so appreciate it. And where can they find us, Jen?
We're on Instagram at the social circle. I have my own page, Jen_Radelet. Candace has her own page, Just the Blended Wells. We are also on everywhere that you stream or listen to podcasts. And please, 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 if you want any additional help besides this podcast, we do offer our own community on the school platform. And if you are interested in getting access into that, just comment VIP and we will send you more information on that. And
That's
I
right.
hope you all have a really wonderful weekend. I think it's Valentine's month, so happy Valentine weekend to all the lovebirds out there, and happy Galentine weekend to all the girls
That's
who are
right.
not with the guy. It's okay. We love you.
Yes, that's right. And you know what? Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.